Welcome to the React Game Challenge. In this challenge, we will design a game, learn and write code for React.js components, make the app responsive for desktop and mobile users, learn and write code for React states and props, and deploy the web game app online. In the previous video, we have made our application responsive. In today's video, we are going to make this app dynamic by writing code for React states and props. If you have come directly to this video, I will highly recommend that you watch the previous videos first to get the context of what we are doing. If you have watched the previous videos, let's resume the challenge. My name is Aditya Shenoy from Brainy Things, where I make programming simple and fun. Today's first challenge is to click the subscribe button. Only 20% of people who watch my videos are able to complete this challenge. If you are not subscribed and would like to watch my videos in future, I will appreciate it if you click the subscribe button. Oh, I forgot to mention that there are bonus points to this challenge if you click the like button as well. Today's quest is to write the code for React states and props. In the last video, we have left our project in this state where we have all our UI elements and all the buttons, images and score text with all the styling CSS done, and we have also made our application responsive to adapt our styling if this application is viewed on a mobile phone. So this is our mobile application and this is our desktop application. But as you can see over here, the images, the buttons are exactly the same, are identical to each other, and these four buttons do not do anything, and this text is also static. So in today's video, we are going to change that. To change this, we have to use React states and props. So let's first understand what is React states and what is React props. So let's start with the easier one, that is React props. We can easily understand that with an example. So for example, let's consider these three buttons. We have made this a component, a separate component app button.js, because we wanted to reuse the same button with slight modification. And that slight modification is exactly what the property is. So even if we have used these three buttons, we don't want them to be identical, exactly identical to each other. We want them to be similar, but with some different properties. And properties in React is referred to with a shorthand, that is props. So in this example of the buttons, the first property that we can see over here that needs to be changed for each of this component is the text. So even though the buttons are similar to each other, the text on them should be different. Similarly, for these hand components, even though all these stylings are similar and same, must be same to each other, but the source of the image, that is the image that gets displayed, should be different. So these are some of the properties of these components that needs to be different from each other so that they are not exactly identical to each other. So let's go to our app.js, and in React, the properties of a component is decided by its parent component. So in our application, the app component, app.js component contains the score component, hand component, and app button component. So you can imagine a tree with the app component at the root and all these three components as its children. So the hand components, like the properties that we just discussed, will be mentioned in this app component. So let's start with the app button.js over here. Over here, we can see that the only thing that needs to be different in all these buttons is this text. Also, the what this button does after clicking, that is also different, because if we click stone, the hand should show stone. If we click scissors, the hand should show scissors. So that is also a property, but for now, let's not focus on the functionality, and let's focus on the UI elements that is more obvious to us. So to fix this, what we can do is, in this app button component calling, like we have used this app component in our app.js, we can pass some properties, and these properties are very analogous to what we do in our HTML, plain HTML. So in HTML, we have our tag name and then we pass some attributes with some values. In a similar fashion, in React, we mention the component name and pass some properties with the values. It is almost the same, just like the HTML, and we can give any name to this property. So for app button, we want the text to be different. So we can pass text equal to stone, and I will copy these 2 times and change the text for scissors, and this should be paper. If I save this and see my application, even after refreshing, this is not visible, because even if we have passed these properties, we are not using that property value anywhere inside this component. So to accept the property from a parent, that is, the app.js is the parent of app button because this app button is contained inside the app component. So to accept properties from parent component, we need to pass an argument inside the function parentheses. And as you can see, the props we have taken as an input, and now we can access all the attributes, all the properties that we have passed inside this tag. So we want props.text over here, but you can see in VS Code only that there is some problem over here. These text is not highlighted as the props is highlighted, and if I go to my website, this is what it looks like. So it is literally taking props.text as a literal string text. We don't want that, and we have discussed this earlier, that if we want to use a JavaScript expression inside our JSX code, we need to enclose that in curly braces like this. So in a similar fashion, props.text is also a JavaScript expression. So we need to enclose that inside a curly brace. And if I save this, you can see that the color highlighting has been done over here in VS Code. So this looks more promising than before. And now in our application, this change has been reflected. So you can see that stone, paper, scissors is now visible. Similarly, we can do the same for these images of the hand component. So I will go to hand.js, and instead of importing the image over here, I will import that in our main app.js, and over here where we have called our hand component, I will pass source as this stone user. Again, I'm using curly parentheses because this stone user is a JavaScript object and not a text. We can include these text that we have passed inside the text property of the app button, but that will not make any change, as you have seen, because this is already a text and we want it to be a text. So we don't need to do that over here, but for stone user we want that because this is not a text, this is an image. So if I pass this stone user, and also if we are passing images to the hand component through properties, we can use different images now. So for stone user, we have, for the image of the user's hand, we are using images of user. For by default, our game should start with stone. So we can also default the computer's hand to be of stone. But in our current design, this stone is facing to the right, like he's playing with someone else to the right off screen. So that is not good. So we want to use stone.png instead of that. So I will just copy this line, and instead of stone I will just call stone, but this is not imported, so I need to import that image as well. So instead of stone user.png, I will do import stone from stone.png. And inside the hand.js, if I save this, it will lead to an error because I'm still referring to stone user inside this, but there is no stone is user imported over here. So again, to fix this, and we are passing properties to the hand component. So to accept that, I need to pass props as an argument to this functional component, and use that props dot, we have named it src. Yes, so props dot src over here. And if I do this and if I save this, this is what our application will look like. Now you can see that the the components are now more controllable in our app.js, and that is what we want, because when we click our buttons, these images should be changed. And if we can pass the image that we want to display, this hand component will become dynamic. And similarly for score.js, these numbers, the user score and the computer score, is currently hard coded. So we don't want that. We again want the app.js, the main game, to control everything. So we can again pass these values as properties of this score. So user score is 1, but I want that to be a number, so I will pass it inside a curly brace. And similarly com score is 0 for now. We can, when we actually implement the logic of the game, then we will reset these score to be 0 each. But for now, let's do this. It will not change anything, because again, we are not accepting that properties in our functional component. So I will put props inside the argument, and then refer props dot user score and props dot com score. As you can see, the color highlighting of VS Code is not taking place, so that is a sign that I need to enclose that inside a curly brace. And that is a good thing of editors like this, because even if we do some spelling mistake or something like that, color highlighting shows a clear signal that we are doing something wrong. Now if I go over here and refresh this, this will not change anything. But if I do this 0 0, then like we are controlling this components value through app.js, and we do not need to change anything inside our components over here. So that is a good sign, that is a good progress that we are doing now. So this was the property. Now what is React state? React state is something that changes dynamically. So over here we can see that in our final product, we want, when we click stone, this image should change. This computer image should also change randomly, and the score should change based on the outcome. So these four components are the initial candidates for being a React state. As they are changing, we need to store that somewhere. So that is a React state. Nothing complicated in that. But to store the state, where do we store the state? So if we want to store a state inside a component, we cannot use functional component. For that, we have to use the other method to create React components. So instead of using functional component, I will use class components. Its syntax is very similar to this: export default class instead of function. And as this is not a function anymore, I will remove the parentheses, ignore the error below, but just focus on this. And this is not a simple class, this is a React component. So we want to extend from component. And where is this component? So we want to import that component from React. So the syntax is like this: import React, not inside the curly brace, and component inside the curly brace from React library. So till now, when we were using functional component, we did not need to import this React library, because that was by default. But when we are using React states and this class component, we have to import that explicitly. So once this is done, Now let's focus on this error. Now this will lead to an error because of the all the red lines over here. As you can see, this is a class and not a function, so it should not return anything. It should have some class methods inside this. And to tell React how to render this component, we want to define that method. So I will define this method render, and inside this render method I want to return all these JSX that I want to render. So if I move this line inside, as you can see, the errors have gone. And if I save this and go to my application, all the errors have gone, and we have not changed anything in our final like the front end part, but in back end we have changed our component from functional component to class component like this. Now why we are doing this? Because functions cannot hold member variables, but classes can. So the reason why we are doing converting from functional component to class component, so that we can have class variables inside this. Class variables or instance variables will be the correct term. So inside this, now I will define the constructor. Constructor is the function that will be called once when this component is generated for the first time. And as this is a React component and it extends this component, we have to accept some properties and call the superclass, that is components constructor, with the super keyword and with the same properties. So we are taking properties and passing it to the superclass. Nothing fancy about it. And you do not need to worry about this, because we are not dealing with any properties in this app.js component. Now to actually store the state, we have to declare a instance variable, that is this dot state, which will be an object, and that will hold all our states. So we have just discussed that the user score, the computer score, this image and this image, and this image will represent what move the user has played and what move the computer has randomly played. So we can store these state information inside our this dot state object. So the syntax is like this: inside curly brace we will name our state properties, user score, and provide some initial values. User score should be 0 initially, computer score should be 0 also, and by default the user move should be stone user. And we can store anything, like I have stored just numbers, I am storing images, I can store strings and any other object that I want. And that will make my life easier, because I can just pass this state inside this property. And comp move will be stored like this. Now this will not change anything, because we are still hard coding the property values over here. Like the zeros will be hard coded. Even if I do something, the scores will not change, obviously, because we are not return anything for that. To change this, what we can do is, we can, instead of passing hard coded values of 0 and 0 to user score and computer score, we can use this states value. And to access those state variables, we can use this dot state dot user score. And similarly I can do this for this dot state dot com score. And if I save this, as you can see, it has not changed anything. But if I go over here and change this to 0 1 0 and I refresh this, you can see that the state value is actually going as a property to its child component score, and then it is going to render that properties that properties user score and computer score. So you can consider that states and properties are related to each other, but not all properties will be states. For example, in our app button, this text, even though we have passed it as a property, this is not going to change in the entire game. So this need not be associated with any state, and we can keep this as hard coded because this is not going to change any time in our game. And whatever elements are going to change dynamically, just like the score and these images that like we just discussed, that those elements should be our React states. And we have done that over here, so I will revert back to 0 0. And again over here, instead of passing hard coded values, I will do this dot state dot user move and this dot state dot comp move. And again, this is not change anything because we have passed the same default values over here, so that is a good sign. So in this way we have seen what is React states and what is React props. So in this video we have changed the visible part, the visual elements of the UI. In the next video we are going to add functionality to our application. If you have enjoyed this video, please click the like button, comment any feedback that you have for this video, subscribe to not miss out future videos of my channel. You can connect to me via LinkedIn, whose link is in the description. Here are some other videos and playlists that you might want to watch, and I will see you in the next video.